Okay, so my boyfriend and I first got together back in mid-September. We met at work because we work in the same office but in different departments. Only a few of our coworkers know about it and they know to keep it a secret. We make sure to actively avoid each other at the office so it doesn't cause any drama. He was interested in me first and I turned him down, but after he went out of his way to show me how thoughtful and sweet he was, I agreed to a date, and things quickly went from there. I'd only dated one person before him, but that was only 2 dates and things never really went anywhere, thankfully, because he was a total douchebag. He's been in a few laters before me and even had a fiancée at one point. They broke up because she cheated on him. For about the first month and a half of us dating, he was very attentive and communicative. We'd be texting almost all the time, and even though we both have busy work schedules, we'd usually go out or hang out at his place at least twice a week. He even got me a drawer at his place like 2 weeks after we began dating so I'd have a place to put my pajamas and things. He was very clearly interested in me, and honestly, one of my concerns when first getting into the relationship was that I may feel smothered at some point and would need to sit him down to let him know that I needed some space. Honestly, I wish that was my concern, because trying to get his attention nowadays feels like pulling teeth. Here's why I feel that way. He used to be really sweet to me and flirt with me a lot through text, and now the most I'm able to get out of him is the occasional Han. When we were first seeing each other, he would invite me over and invite me out and would express excitement towards seeing me. Now, I'm usually the one who has to initiate the plans, and he'll usually respond like, "Yeah, we can do that," or, "Let me check my calendar." Like, damn, do you even want to see me? I'm asking to spend time with my boyfriend, not squeezing in a effing business meeting. It makes me feel like an obligation, which I really hate. Even though my boyfriend and I usually only see each other about once a week nowadays, he joked with me one day calling me clingy. I got really upset with him about it and kind of bitched him out for it. He apologized saying it was a joke and he didn't mean it like that, but I feel like he wouldn't have made it if there wasn't a hint of truth to it. Communication is minimal nowadays, and what I do get is lackluster. We used to text continuously, having the most interesting and intellectually engaging conversations. Some sweet, some sexy, you know the drill. He's on vacation right now, and a few days ago, he texted me a good morning text around 10 a.m. and when I responded back, he kept me on read until midnight, when he finally replied back saying, "Hey, sorry, I was doing so and so all day." It only takes a few seconds to shoot a text saying you won't be on your phone for the rest of the day. I would have preferred that to feeling like I was being blown off by my boyfriend for the entire day. I feel like if he actually cared, he would have taken that into consideration. Also, I texted him asking for him to call me because I missed him after he was gone for about a week, and he just replied, "Yeah, I get it, can I call you tonight?" Then when we talked on the phone later on that night, I said, "I miss you," a few times and didn't say it back. I get that maybe it takes longer than that amount of time for some people to miss others. But when we were first dating, he once said, "Miss you," to me when we'd just seen each other the day previous. I don't get it. We're still physically involved when we do hang out, and what we do together is good, but there really isn't any build up or tease anymore. He doesn't compliment me and we don't sext. It kind of makes me feel like a friends with benefits in a way, except friends with benefits probably are more excited about seeing each other, at least. He doesn't really open up to me emotionally anymore. He used to talk to me about things that are bothering him or things that are going on personally, and he doesn't really actively bring those things up anymore. I want to be there for him, but it's hard to do so when he won't let me. I really hope that this post doesn't paint him out to be a bad guy, because he's really not. In fact, he's an incredible guy, which is why I'm with him. He's charitable and sweet, has a great love for his family and friends, and he's smart and funny. He always listens to me when I'm stressed or upset and apologizes when he messes up. And it's not like he's ashamed to be with me or anything. He introduces me to his friends as his girlfriend. Even though he has a lot of female friends, I don't think he'd cheat on me. He actually hadn't been sexually involved with anyone for about 2 years before seeing me, so I know he doesn't give in to urges and temptation like some people do. It just makes me wonder why he's acting like this. I've mentioned to him as being distant before, and he just tells me that he's sorry and that he hasn't noticed he's acting like that, then brings up 1 or 2 very temporary things that have been on his mind. I'd understand it if it had just happened for 2 weeks, but it keeps happening and is getting worse. I want to talk to him about this because I really want things to work out between us, and I don't want to end up resenting him over something that's fixable. I don't feel like I'm asking for too much. I just want to be a priority and to be shown affection. Am I just overanalyzing everything? If he was really losing interest in me, he would have just broken up with me already, right? I know that pretty much every response I'm going to get is going to say that I won't know until I ask him, but I don't know how to present this to him. Like I said earlier on, when I do present problems in our relationship, he just apologizes and apologizes. I don't say these things to guilt trip him or to make me feel superior to him. I just want our relationship to be healthy, and how are we supposed to do that if I don't communicate what I'm feeling? I'm going to be seeing him on Saturday, so I think I'm going to need to sit him down for a very serious face-to-face talk. I'm just not sure exactly what to say. Any advice or perspective would be much appreciated. Update: am I being too clingy, or is my boyfriend being too distant? I couldn't wait until Saturday. On Tuesday, I asked him when he was flying back in from vacation, and he told me he was flying in around 12:30 a.m. on Thursday. So I told him I wanted to come over to his house after work that day, today, to talk. He apparently had plans with another coworker of ours, which I was salty about because I figured that he would want to see his girlfriend. Of all people. After being gone for 2 weeks, but he blew them off because it sounded important. So I went over to his house tonight with a box of his things and gave him the spiel. I said pretty much everything I said in my post, then basically laid it down too. If you're not into me anymore, I'd understand. But please just break up with me so we can find people who are better suited to us. And if you are into me still, then you need to show it. The entire time he nodded his head and looked very understanding. Once I was done talking, he admitted that he had indeed been distant for the past month and a half, particularly the past 3 weeks. He then explained that the reason for this is because he realized that we have very different aspirations for the future and he has been racking his brain and talking to everyone trying to find a way to make it work. I asked him what he wanted that I didn't and he said, kids. He wants kids within the next couple of years. He said he thinks he'd make a really great dad, and he knows that I'm young and that's not something that I want, and even if it is, it wouldn't be something that I would want within the next couple of years. He told me that it was killing him inside that he couldn't think of a compromise that could work for us to be together because he loves me. First time he's ever told me that. And the last. He said he didn't want to continue on in our relationship hanging on to maybes only for us to end up resenting each other or pressuring each other into things we don't want. I let him know that I'm still growing and my thoughts on it could still change, and that right now, my main reservation with children is actual pregnancy and I could possibly see myself adopting. He shook his head and said he wanted children of his own. He's right. We cried in each other's arms, collected my things, and discussed our boundaries at the office. I let him know that I didn't regret our relationship and that I'm so thankful for all of the good that we had together. I thanked him for being so good to me and for showing me the way that I deserve to be treated in a relationship, before the emotional distancing. Of course. He then told me that he was honored to be my first boyfriend as he understood how big of a step that was for me to take and said that I'm the best girlfriend he's ever had and I've showed him love more than anyone he has ever dated before, including his ex-fiancée. He said that he felt for a long time that he didn't deserve love and I showed him that he did. We agreed that we were going to keep all of the gifts that we'd given to each other and that we needed some time apart to grieve but that we would still be friends and that we wished the best for each other in finding people who have the same aspirations for the future. He then walked me to my car for the last time. Fuck. This sucks. Edit. Thank you everyone for your kind words of support. I'm still hurting and I have spent a lot of time crying. And I'm sure I will for a while, but I will heal with time. The day after the breakup, I tried to avoid him at the office, but the few times I saw him on accident I could tell he was hurting. It hurts me to see him hurt. I have not spoken to him since and will not do so for quite a while as I don't want to reopen the wound. I also deleted WhatsApp from my phone, as that was what we used to message each other and I am trying to break the habit of consistently checking my phone to hear from him. Due to some of my current life circumstances, many aspects of my life have been based off of things that would make me happy while still being feasible/convenient for other people in my life, mainly my mother, not necessarily what I truly want for myself. Before my former, I choose to refer to him as my former as opposed to my ex, because I think ex just sounds too harsh and has a negative connotation. I never would have thought marriage would be something that I'd want for myself. Now that I've been shown what a good relationship is like and what it feels like to love and be loved in return, I would really like to be married. Since I'd previously never even thought I wanted marriage, this is why I'd never really prioritized whether or not I want children. I have a bad habit of focusing on my present instead of my future. I have decided that for the next few months, probably closer to half a year, I'm going to make a point of prioritizing what I want for my future long term in regards to what I think would make me happy. I'm going to start reflecting on if having children is something I think could be a fulfilling part of my life and if it would make me happy. I'm honestly not sure what children are like. My friends/close family don't have children so I never really spend time with any, which is another reason I haven't thought about it much. So I may see if I can find some opportunities to babysit or spend time with children in some other way to see if I like them and if I could see myself caring for one long term. I think it's something I need to do to avoid this kind of heartbreak in the future. And if I do decide that I'd like to have children on the same timeline as my former does and it just so happens that my former is still single and he still wants to build a future with me, then I'll see if he wants to pick up where we left off. But if it turns out that I just don't want kids or I know I'm not going to be sure for a while, then I will hope someone with just as much love to give comes into my life who feels the same.